Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you who watched this video. I hope you enjoy it. Also appreciate those of you who have subscribed. Thank you very much. If you want the worst takes on movies, go right ahead and subscribe as well. Not always the worst takes. Sometimes I got a good perspective on a movie. Anyways, let's get into Street Fighter. This is based off a video game. I've heard of the name, heard of the video game, not really played it, so I have no idea about the storyline or anything like that. So I'm not really sure how faithful this movie is to the video game Street Fighter. So I'm doing straight from, the movie perspective, I guess you could say. So let's talk about this movie. First off, some little bit of background about this movie, what's going on with some of these actors. At this time, Jean-Claude Van Damme is pretty much fooling himself. He's a big movie star at this time period. And I guess from reports that I've read, he's kind of coked out of his mind. I guess he was spending like, what, $10,000s, $100,000 on coke every day or something like that. So he wasn't really at his top performance acting-wise. And then you have Raul Julia, poor guy here. This is his last movie. He was suffering from cancer at this time, and he wanted to make this movie because his children really love the video games. And so that's why he was making this movie. He also got like Kylie Minogue. Hopefully I pronounced her last name right. She was like a big singer back in like the late 80s, early 90s. I think her big hit was like Locomotion, Everybody do the locomotion. That tune right there. And then you got other good actors in this movie as well. So you get a pretty good cast in this movie. Unfortunately, none of them really pull it off very well. Like I said, Van Damme pretty much fooled himself, didn't really put his best performance in here, and there's a lot of takes on this movie, like action scenes are not very good at all. They're all really like close up scenes for the most part, where you can't really see like the full fighting form, which is kind of unique especially for a Van Damme movie. I'm not really sure why the director took that approach with this, but everything, you're not really seeing a full move. You want to see the connect and stuff, which is something that's kind of similar with Hollywood today, where they don't really want to show these actors actually doing the fighting choreography. They just want to show the punch landing. If you want to see good fighting choreography, unfortunately, you have to do like Chinese and their karate, stuff like that. They seem to be the ones who like to do those wide shots of fighting scenes. Americans, I guess they think it's more impactful, more, exciting, not to just do close-ups on people punching. Honestly, I like the wide shots, especially a good example of that would be Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has some of the best fighting scenes ever. And then Kill Bill with Quentin Tarantino got some great fighting scenes in that one. And this one, this is a fighting movie. It would be nice to actually see these people be able to fight and block and stuff. And so, unfortunately, you already get close-ups. Van Damme does do his patented jump-up roundhouse kick, which is in all his movies. But overall, this movie is very comical. There's not very much difference between this movie and like the 1960s Batman movie. Only you don't have the kapow and boom coming up every time somebody lands a punch. But it's very much like that. Even the characters, the villains are very comical, just like the Joker was, and the Riddler and the Catwoman's back there. And the heroes, everything is very comic booky. In the 90s are not a very good decade for video game movies. It's kind of like Hollywood didn't know what to do with these video games, because in general, you would think of them being made for children. And this one, you got a lot of shooting and kicking and violence in here. So I think they were trying to play the best of both worlds, trying to appeal to adults and to children at the same time. And overall, it just fails. The storyline is kind of lame. You got Raul Julia, he's the big villain, trying to take over the world. He makes it's kind of funny, look, he's making all his money, saying this money's going to be great, so he pays all his henchmen in his money, which when he gets defeated, of course, it's worthless. So his henchmen ends up working for him for free. Overall, Raul Julia does do a pretty good job portraying the villain in this movie. It does a pretty good job. I imagine, a lot of fighting scenes were probably tempered a lot because, Raul Julia's not your martial artist or fighting actor, that's not really his portray his background, even though he did a pretty good job in the Addams Family's doing the sword fighting. So that might play a little role in that, you know, on the dumbing down of the fighting scenes. But the other fighting scenes where he's not in it, seems like they could have done that a little bit better. Overall, this is probably one of Van Damme's worst movies. Probably Raul Julia is one of his worst movies too. I'm not very big of watching all Raul Julia's movies. You know, I've probably only seen, only ones I've really come to mind I've seen is the two Addams Families and this one. I'll probably seen him in other stuff, just don't really recall it at this time at the top of my head. Overall, I would probably stay away from Street Fighter, unless you like a die-hard video game, you know, into the video game, and then you could watch it, see what they did right and did wrong with the characters. So I'll probably stay with this one then. If somebody's never seen a Van Damme movie, I would definitely not show them this movie. They would not understand the excellence of Van Damme by watching this movie, or Raul Julia as well, or Julia, sorry, Julia. Anyways, what's your thoughts on Street Fighter? Is this like your favorite movie? I didn't even like this back as a kid. It's a terrible video game movie. I think if I'm going 90s video game movies, I think the first Mortal Kombat is actually pretty good for the 90s. I'm talking about 90s only. The first Mortal Kombat is probably the best video game of the 90s, video game movie of the 90s decade. Because I would say Tomb Raider, but Tomb Raider came out like early 2000s, was that 2001? So it just missed a decade. But for the 90s video game movies, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat's probably the best. This one is like your average video game adaptation into a movie, unfortunately. Anyways, have a great day. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys love Street Fighter? Am I completely wrong about this movie? Or do you think, is it a masterpiece? I'm just too dumb to realize it. Or you agree with me that it's terrible? What do you guys think about the performances? Let me know below in the comments. And hopefully you guys have a great day. Bye.